Hey there, nieces and nephews. This is Travels by Auntie Jennie. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a special day. For one, it is New Year's Eve 2021. And two, we're here in the city of San Francisco fixing to tour one of the well-known and more famous prisons, Alcatraz. So if you have the time and you're still interested, come join us. While waiting for the rest of the family to get here, Pier 33 has a scaled model of Alcatraz Island for you to check out. It looks really bigger than what I had thought. Now the prices for the tour were pretty reasonable. For a regular adult ticket, prices came up to $49 per person. Children between the ages of 5 and 11 years of age is $33. And children 4 years and younger are free. They also offer senior discounts as well. When we purchase our tickets online, the website encourages you to be at least 15 minutes early before your time departure.
Thank you.
Yeah, the booths are in. We go to Chicago and have the green.
So spicy.
It's like a creamy jalapeno or serrano.
I'm gonna say the bush. Huh? Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the very last minute, here's the rest of the family.
What?
And I'm with Travels by Auntie Jennie, and we're going to Alcatraz.
Now the ferry ride to and from Alcatraz takes about 10 to 15 minutes.
Now it's gonna get cold.
Your drink? Where's the dolphin?
Okay, from left to right is Auntie D, Mark, Maria, and Ichimaki. Then we have Uncle Tony, Danny, Kelly, and Sumo.
Hi, Travels by Auntie Jennie. This is Miss Maria, Jennie, and we're here at Alcatraz.
Yay!
We're going to Alcatraz.
And how old are you? Oh man. Say happy birthday to you. Sing it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nissan. Happy birthday to you. 5 years old. Isn't Nissan so adorable? He just turned 5 years old the day before.
It's so much more than just a prison. Native American occupation videos.
Far in the distance there is the Golden Gate Bridge.
Shell House tour. You will find directions to these activities at the
And there in the distance again is Alcatraz Island.
information flyer.
the federal and state governments mistreating them. The entire nation is land that has been dispossessed from Native American tribes. So when they come out here and they point Indians welcome, paint Indians welcome, Indian land across. There's not a cultural center or a university out here. The National Park Service has been managing the island for over 50 years. But it is a yes because that policy I mentioned to you, where they're trying to get rid of the reservations, because of the protests out here, because it got so much media attention and gained so much momentum for the Native American civil rights movement, the federal government did abandon that policy. But I wanted to tell you that over 50 years later, that indigenous communities are still protesting for their needs. So this was not a...
Around this area, I do recommend that you use the restrooms before heading on to the tour. Do you see the truck on the left-hand side? Well, they used to use it on the island when the prison was still operating. And I found out that it was recently restored after reading a newspaper clip that was taped to the window of the truck. And here's the rest of my party. From right to left is Matt, his son Mason, and his girlfriend Yui. As you can see, there's a long trail heading over to the prison cells, so make sure that you wear comfortable shoes to walk up that hill. So after walking up one leg of the track, Uncle Tony, Auntie D, and I decided to take this tram up the hill. So here at Alcatraz, you have the option of taking the tram all the way up to the top of the hill, and the top of the hill is actually is considered 13 stories high. So if you have asthma or any kind of disability, this is an option for you. At this point on is where we decided to walk back down to take the tram up the hill. Every turn we make, you start to see how much of an incline it keeps going up to as you get closer to the prison cells.
Oh, this one there was good.
Yeah.
Good. Good angle.
Check out the family's photos as they waited for Auntie D, Uncle Tony, and I to come up the hill with the tram. We finally made it, and now we're entering into the prison cells.
We're at the cells.
At the cell?
Yeah. Like where all the prisoners was at.
Oh, man.
I like how they started off the tour where they had us enter in as new inmates walking into the cell house. And this area is where they do the search, where they search inmates for narcotics, contraband, and any type of weapons. So technically, in this intake section, you get searched, you showered, and then you're issued your Alcatraz Blues clothing.
What do you see? Mason, not much. Not much?
After viewing the intake section, you're issued a hearing device to help you with your self-guided tour.
Quest, remember the Birdman, okay?
And due to the pandemic, I love how they implement social distancing. And make sure that if you're in a big group, to always stick together, especially if you have little ones.
You want to get lost in the jump? Okay, stay with us.
All right, everybody. Are you ready to see the rest of the cell house? I know Niece Maria is. Let's go. Like I said before, our tickets included an audio tour where the park provided a little cell radio that you can listen to in each section. And at this particular section, it played a few stories from the security guards. One main thing was nobody was really known by their real name or cell number, but more by their inmate number. The audio tour also included stories of real inmates from Alcatraz. It included the names, pictures, and the crimes they were convicted of. When an inmate is first placed at Alcatraz, one of the main things they're issued is a rules and regulations booklet. Everything that each inmate would need to know is all issued in this book. These cells were 9 feet long, 5 feet wide, and 7 feet in height. This is so unreal at how big of a living space this is for one person. Check this out. The aisle that we were just at is called Broadway, and it leads towards the clock, Times Square. I actually think that's kind of clever. Our audio led us to the recreation yard, and right away Uncle Tony recognized this area in the 1979 movie Alcatraz, featuring Clint Eastwood. And believe it or not, this little grassy nook area there was actually a baseball diamond for the inmates to either play baseball or run laps. There are 4 blocks total in Alcatraz. B block and C block, aka Michigan and Broadway Avenue, were the most common ones used, especially if you were new to the island. A block was rarely occupied by inmates. It was actually more used as storage space. Now, we're left with D block. Knowing that Alcatraz was the place for the country's worst inmates, well, D block was where they kept the worst of the worst. D block was actually 3 levels, and on the bottom level, 6 cells towards the end of the hall were considered the hole. Basically, it's isolation for those who had behavioral problems. Prisoners who were housed in D Block were locked in their cells for 24 hours a day. But for those who were locked in the hole, normally it would only last for several days, but no more than 19 days. Imagine being locked up in total darkness with a restricted diet of only bread and water. We are now in Alcatraz Library that was located at the end of D Block. All inmates are given a library card and a catalog of books found in the library, which were mostly a collection of 10 to 15,000 books. And on average, can you believe that inmates would read 75 to 100 books a year? Throughout the prison, this area, which is located on the other side of the library, is considered to be the most comfortable place to have your cell. Here, they show examples of how cells used to look like when inmates used to occupy Alcatraz. And as you can see, some have artwork, instruments, and even board games like checkers and chess. We now turn the corner and we're heading towards the visitation center. Here, inmates were only allowed one visitor per month. When we first started our tour, we were actually on the other side of Michigan Avenue. But on this side, it shows 3 of the most famous cells of all in Alcatraz. Yes, I'm talking about the famous escape from Alcatraz that happened on June 11th, 1962. It was of 3 inmates, Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin. As you can see towards the back of the cell, these inmates, using spoons, chiseled away around the air vents concrete that led to the corridor. On their beds, they left papier-mâché dummies with stolen hair from the barbershop. Cell 138 is Frank Morris. And 4 cells over, cell numbers 150 and 152, belong to John and Clarence Anglin. And all the items in this cell were props from the America's Most Wanted television show that featured Escape from Alcatraz. To this day, Frank Morris, John, and Clarence Anglin are considered fugitives. Hey, son. Hi, boy. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Kiss again. Thank you. Jeez. See how they escaped there?
Yeah. Oh my god. So what?
Look in there.
So they
Utilities.
how they get out?
Looking through this plexiglass shows the corridors, which is the area they used to escape. This is basically right behind the 1962 escapee cells.
You know the hole?
And that's where they
That connects out to the water. And they jump down.
big for my dad.
Show me. This one? Wow. Sit down, girl.
Yeah. I don't want to touch that.
Can I use the restroom though?
Do it. Do it, Dan.
Show them how
Do
the
it, Dan.
prisoners did it, Dan.
Do it, Daniel.
Are we doing
Show them how the prisoners did it, dog.
Hey,
Mark, we'll blocking that everybody cross to see what we're looking at.
that will be crazy. I'm
Danny.
going to use the restroom and Alcatraz since
Just walk in there. It feels weird.
Erie, huh?
Yeah, weird. It does, right? Can you imagine just being stuck in there?
Dan, use the bathroom. Sit down. Sit
Oh,
down.
heck no, man.
He's on. And after a good 15 minutes of trying to find Al Capone's cell, which is cell number 181, we finally gave up. We finally made it to the dining hall, and here shows what was last served on the last day Alcatraz operated as a prison. According to the audio tour, the dining hall is potentially one of the most dangerous rooms to ever be in, simply because of the eating utensils. We are finally done with touring the cell house, and it's now time to check out the museum store. Since we took the tram all the way up to the top of the rock, we decided to take it all the way back down. Yeah. How did you like Alcatraz?
Good.
Say it loud.
Good.
And was it scary? Okay. Oh. And how old are you again? All right. I love you. Okay. How did you like Alcatraz? All right. Danielson, how was your experience? Were you scared?
Heck yeah, I was scared.
Did it smell funny?
It smelled funny. And it felt eerie
Where?
when I went into cell 181.
The one that we couldn't go to. Thank you for watching. I hope my video was helpful enough for you to get an inside look on what to expect when visiting and touring Alcatraz Island. And if you really enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. You can also check out my Instagram and Facebook page. And as always, thank you for watching. This is Travels by Auntie Jennie. Have a great day. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Alcatraz! Alcatraz!